We got the Marvel What If Zombies patch notes, and it's going to be maintenance. This is a major update, so there's not going to be any game available from 7 p.m. Eastern until 3 a.m. Eastern. So there's a window of time where you can't play the game at all because of maintenance. It's right there. It's from 4 p.m. Pacific to midnight Pacific. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind the game will be live at 3 a.m. Eastern. So 3 a.m. Eastern tonight or tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, I will be live here on YouTube. You don't want to miss that. We're going to be going through the whole update. We're going to be checking out all the new content, the new uniforms, new character. There's a lot to get through. So, you know, it's going to be a really fun event. And it's rare that we get live streams with new content. So, yeah. Anywho, let's dive right in. We got Okoye as a new character. She's completely free to play. She's a speed human female hero. Her leadership is whatever, as all female speed heroes are. Her passive is buffing herself. It's guaranteed dodge, guaranteed crit, skill damage, bonus damage. Her other passive is also a lot more buffs: dodge, crit damage, ignore dodge. She'll be very easy to cap these important stats with. And she should hit pretty hard because of the guaranteed crit rate and the crit damage and the ignore dodge and stuff like that. So that's quite nice there. Doesn't seem to be a support character at all, which I think is also kind of nice, just to get like a strong, powerful standalone character. Not too much to talk about on the skills themselves. She doesn't have a ton of ABX, ABL. She doesn't have many ABX, ABL abilities. She has Fracture and Paralysis, which is good. Those are 2 abilities. Oh, and she actually has Silence, so she actually has 3. But she's missing Burn, she's missing Snare, and she's missing 1 more, I believe. But yeah, she has Invincibility, she has a damage proc, she has a heal, she has a, you know, damage immunity, she has a barrier, and she has a frenzy buff. So quite a few buffs here, but obviously brand new characters, no uniforms, no tier 4. They're, you know, mostly for newer players. And then we get the new uniforms for Marvel Zombies. Now, we were speculating what was going to happen here. They're all villains. So that's pretty straightforward. It's a big surprise, but they're all villains. Just straight up, they're all villains. They keep the rest of their abilities. Everything else is the same, but they're all villains now. And they have the zombie ability tag. You can see right there for Captain America, he has the zombie ability tag. So that's going to be a pretty interesting, you know, thing to keep note of. If we have any content in the future where you have to use zombies because it's such a small group of characters and it's tied to these uniforms, but also because Falcon's support ability buffs the zombie allies. As far as Cap's uniform goes, he gets 40% attack and 15% chain hit reduction when attacked. That 15% is up from 10% on his previous uniform, so that's a 50% increase. That's not bad. When his HP is below 70%, he has triggers that immunity. They changed it from 4 seconds to 5 seconds. And then they took away the frenzy buff that he gets, and they reduced the cooldown time. So now instead of taking 15 seconds to cooldown, it only takes 10. So they did do mostly offensive, like mostly increasing tweaks, but mostly like defensive in the sense of like making him tankier. His tier 3 skill apparently is getting some changes. I'm not going to go through these buffs one by one and see what they are. But yeah, they are changing it in some way. He keeps that 45% HP lead for all allies. His tier 2 passive here with the super armor all defense is getting bumped from 40% to 50%. The skill damage bonus is going from 40-35 to 40-40, and then the damage reduction is going from 35 to 40. So lots of defensive changes there. Heroism is exactly the same. It has not changed at all. And then he's getting now a ignore iframe counterattack skill. It's moving from his 3rd skill to his 2nd skill, but they are keeping the percentage, the 40% chance to penetrate, which is kind of low, for 5 seconds. They are keeping that the same. They're increasing his immunity by 1 second. He still has the 20% pure damage accumulation, so that's all well and good. They are lowering the cooldown. So before Cap had a 13-second cooldown on his iframe ignore counter skill. Now it's at 11 seconds, so he's going to pop that off every 5.5 seconds. That's not bad. That's kind of interesting. He gets a 35% heal with invincibility here for 5 seconds, which is nice, 35%. Here he gets a frenzy buff with immunity, and he's got fracture and stuff. And then on his 5th skill, he gets the bigger frenzy buff with the 50% attack. So it seems very similar. I think the only difference is they also bumped up his heal from 25 to 35%. Like, these are all increases. They're just incremental increases. So we'll have to wait and see just how much that helps him out. But they are like just buffs across the board. Falcon hasn't gotten a uniform in a long time, so you know this is like 2021 or something like that when he got this uniform. It's been a while, for 2020 even. I can't remember. But yeah, I think it's 2021. Yeah, it's been a while, but he's turning into a supervillain now. His uniform effect is still 10% chain hit. He's got the skill damage, bonus damage, which is getting bumped up from 35-45 to 40-45. And then the guaranteed dodge is brand new. It's the 30% guaranteed dodge rate, which is good because it synergizes with his healing passive. They haven't changed his healing passive. Whenever he heals, he recovers 30% of his HP for 4 seconds, which is 120% of his HP, which is insane. He cleanses his debuffs and he gets an attack buff. So this is still a really good passive, and it's still the same. His leadership is still just kind of dog water. It's just it's just dodge. It's not good. But he now has a passive instead of having this. Oh, I see. So they moved his guaranteed dodge passive that he had. They moved it from his 4-star passive to his uniform effect. And then instead they added this support buff. So yeah, he has a support buff now, this zombie support buff. Zombie allies increasing their damage, excuse me, versus heroes and villains. So that's quite nice. And then his skills honestly look pretty straightforward. He's got frenzy, he's got dodge and ignore dodge, and then he's got immunity and invincibility, and he's got 50% chance to penetrate. The only thing that's really missing from his kit, if you're looking at it that way, is accumulation. But remember, he gets that on his tier 3 skill, and that hasn't changed. They've also kept the damage proc. So he had a 50% damage proc for 2 attacks. They kept that. They just added it to his 5th skill instead of his 3rd skill. So I think he's going to be a little bit easier to play. So it should be nice. And then we got not Captain America. We got Doctor Strange here. Now his last uniform we were a little bit iffy about. Let's take a look at the new one here. If we're seeing a lot of buffs or not. His uniform effect, crit damage is the same. Crit rate is guaranteed crit rate's going up by 5% from 25 to 30. And then his skill damage bonus damage is going up to 45-40 from 40-35. So it's each of them is getting a 5% bump. Leadership, I believe, is exactly the same. Tier 2 passive, I believe, is exactly the same. Yeah, it is. And then his 4-star passive is also, say it with me now, exactly the same. All right. So his skills seem, I mean, it's hard to tell from skills. He keeps the reflect on his 2nd skill, which is nice, and the remove all buff, so they haven't removed that or taken that away. He has the immunity for 5 seconds, which is the same as on his 3rd skill now. With the accumulation rate's the same. Same cooldown as well, 13 seconds. He keeps the V-pad skill, same 13-second cooldown, same heal, 1 more second of invincibility, so 5 instead of 4, and then the same 60% attack buff. And then his 5th skill, instead of having this is actually really good. Instead of having a 30-second cooldown, his 5th skill, it's now down to 24 seconds. Now, this has always been a thing for Doctor Strange, where his 5th skill, you can't use it every rotation because it's so powerful, but they keep lowering the cooldown, which makes him stronger, right? Because now you can cast this, 6 seconds earlier, so it's every 12 seconds instead of every 15 seconds. That's pretty big. That's going to make him, for sure that's going to make him do more damage. Now, how much more damage, we don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, obviously. But yeah, on paper, he doesn't seem much better. Besides the fact that he's now a villain and he has the zombie tag. That's it, right? Yeah. But I'll wait and see, to see if he's bad, like if he's very good or just slightly better. He does have snare. He does have paralysis. He does have silence. But he's missing fracture. He's missing burn. And missing shock. He is missing 2 ABL abilities, 1 ABX ability. So we'll see if he can actually replace or compete with Magneto. And then Wong is getting a brand new uniform as well. Also a supervillain. Also getting that zombie tag. His uniform effect is going to apply to himself. Let's see what the buff is here. We got 20% crit rate instead of 15. So that goes up by 5. 20% dodge instead of 15. So it goes up by, say it with me now, 5. And then same 30% damage reduction. That hasn't changed. His tier 2 passive is still going to give him the crit damage with the 30-40 guaranteed dodge, guaranteed crit. That's the same. And then his leadership is the same. And then his other passive for magic allies is also, say it with me now, the same. So no changes so far for Wong. He keeps his 2nd skill, counterattack, but they added iframe ignore. So apparently Wong didn't have iframe ignore before. He just had counter. Now he's gaining iframe ignore. That should be huge. That should be very, very strong. I believe, or maybe he already had it because it says it targets the ignore targeting's target. I don't know. He has the 50% penetration. That's the same. He cleanses debuffs. That's the same. He gets immunity for 5 seconds. That's new. So he didn't have immunity at all before. So they're adding immunity to his counterattack ignore iframe skill, which is good. He's got the 20% heal on his third skill with the accumulation. That's exactly the same as before. Did they reduce the cooldown? They don't know. It's the same 10-second cooldown. He's got the barrier for 8 hits. And he's got the 100% damage proc. And he's got the 50% defense on his fourth skill. That's a really, really good fourth skill. I believe that's new. That's brand new. Yeah. So he's getting some brand new buffs there. Before, he only had the 100% proc. So the barrier is brand new. And then the super armor, 50% all defense, is also brand new, which is quite nice. And then he's getting the 5-second invincibility with the basic attack buff on his fifth skill, which is the same. It's just sort of like reshuffled. But yeah, so some nice buffs all around, but nothing like crazy for any of these characters. Nothing like insane. Nothing new. We'll have to wait and see, in game how they play. Wong's tier 4 here removes active buffs from the target, so it has a bit of a PvP element, small, and then it increases his attack, which seems like okay, it's kind of boring, but it also does damage. It has 400% scaling of his physical attack, so it's a damage dealing tier 4 ability. We'll have to wait and see how good that is. Those are kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're kind of lame. Okoye's tier 3. She gets Frenzy. She gets Penetration. She slashes around. You got M'Baku and Killmonger getting their Transcendence. No uniforms, but this is really good for M'Baku because he's now available for any tier 3 only content like World Boss Legend. So you can use him, and he's a fantastic support, especially since everyone has his artifact. Almost everyone has his artifact. We got the new game mode, Zombie Survival. So they already addressed here it's not going to be a multiplayer game mode. This is the biggest letdown of the new game mode. I have to say they really should not have promised it being multiplayer if they had no intention. Again, I think it's tough to say whether they knew that it wasn't going to work out as multiplayer, but yeah, they're saying we informed you we were preparing a new multiplayer content with the concept of blocking waves of enemies. However, to provide a more stable service, the concept was changed to individual competitive content as a result of internal reviews. That's fine. Like, it's nice that they're being honest with us and they're telling us, but at the same time, it wasn't that long ago that they released the dev note saying that it was multiplayer. That was back in April of this year. You're saying they didn't do any testing at that time? I think they kind of knew. I don't know. It's a bit annoying for sure. But still, we'll see if it's a good game mode. We'll see if it's fun. That's really the big time thing that matters. They just break down what all of these things mean. We'll do a breakdown when it comes out about all of this stuff, so you guys have a review and you have guides and stuff. So I don't want to get into it now because it's just kind of summarizing what you can already read here, and it's fairly straightforward. You basically just have skills that you can't use for every character, and then they rotate every week because there's a new kind of zombie theme or whatever every week. And then you have stage hazards where certain ability characters are banned as well. The first 30 stages are unlocked by default. Once you clear stage 30, then up to 60 is unlocked. You choose 5 characters to bring in. Those 2 are your starting characters that are battling sort of back to back, clearing the waves. And then if one of them dies, they get replaced by a reserve character. We'll have to wait and see if it's like random or if it's always Hulk first and then Iron Man last. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. It should be pretty fun. You got this guy saying meet. There's going to be waves. There's going to be a mini boss or a mid boss and then a final zombie boss at the end. So there's 2 bosses there. If you die, you don't get score recorded, but you don't want to die, obviously. And then you have like a leaderboard where you can compete for weekly rewards. You got the weekly token rewards here. They don't talk about daily rewards. They don't address the amount of crystals, so nothing really to dive into there. They do mention that that they'll add more items to the shop in the future, but the shop looks good already. It's obviously modeled after Otherworld Battle Shop. You got tier 4 materials. You got some other stuff. Very, very nice. Like that. You got a new comic card collection. Marvel Zombies Return. Collecting all 5 cards at Mythic gives you +3 attack. So whales are going to want that. They're also adding a P card, right? A premium card that has the HP increase. And they've said that the HP increase stacks with other comic cards that also have the HP increase, which means that they're probably hoping, they probably want PvP whales to adopt this card as part of their set. So it's a bit annoying, but I may have to, you know, gamble for this card, craft this card, perfect it, roll it to 7 quality, and then go. I'll have to wait and see what the card gods say. It's got attack and max HP, which looks really good. It's got ignore dodge, which is never before seen on a card, I believe. But a 5% ignore dodge is really nothing. Like, don't go, oh my god, like 5% ignore dodge. It doesn't really matter that much. The HP is obviously good. Energy attack on the 5th option would be probably the best. And then the 5th option is kind of, or the 6th option is kind of bad. It's, I guess, like crit rate or recovery rate or physical defense. It makes the card a little bit easier to roll because you're just hoping for 2 perfect stats instead of all 3. But it also makes the overall power level of the card a little bit lower because they put all defense and physical attack on the same roll with the HP increase, which you kind of don't want to see. The other 4 cards are not P cards, so I'm not really going to cover them. They have some good fixed options like energy attack max HP, cooldown all attack. They're good, but they're just for new players. They're just for you to get your feet under you until you start collecting P cards. There's some buffs to Alliance Battle, so some of the best stuff in the update happens here. So they've added the Frost Beast's Instinct. This is probably to indicate to players that you can use the CTP of Liberation and it will work effectively to increase your scores. Probably sell more Liberations. They've buffed the max score. They've increased the max score for both ABX and ABL, Alliance Battle Legend and Alliance Battle Extreme. They're bumping it by, you know, a lot. 9 million for Extreme and 7 million for Legend. The reward bumps don't seem very good. It's gold for the first tier. It's a small or medium supply chest for the second tier. And then the last tier is an Alliance Battle chest. Now, we don't know what's in the Alliance Battle chest, but it's pretty interesting because they talk about these things called premium gift boxes. And you can craft these premium gift boxes only when you have enough of these premium gift box pieces. These little like token pieces. And apparently you only get these token pieces from these chests. So this is going to be like a very high-end, low-chance reward. But it's something you want to aim for if you're interested in ABX, ABL, and you could push your scores because various items such as tier 4 materials, Odin's Blessings, premium cards, and CTPs can be acquired from this premium gift box. So it's kind of like a chase item, a chase reward for the big whales and the big ABX ABL scores. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. You can sort of turn your ABX ABL scores into CTPs and stuff like that. Quite nice. They're making the visibility of Odin's Might, the purple beam. They're making that easier to see, which is cool. We got the new artifacts for Okoye, Falcon, and Killmonger. Killmonger's is whatever. Falcon's is increased damage to heroes and villains, which is good. And it's like Jean has that one. Gore has that one. And then Okoye's is the Giga Dodge, like Spider-Man's. That's quite nice. Those are all, like, those two are decent. I mean, we have to see how good the characters are. And again, Falcon's won't be very useful until he's tier 4. But yeah, it's nice that they didn't get, like, shitty artifacts. We got the new, what is this? The Future Pass with the new Future Pass icons. I only really like the Captain America one, to be honest with you, when he turns around. We got the new uniform collection, so we're not going to be getting more zombies, but it's really hilarious how they position this, where they're all trying to attack Okoye. So it's not really like, they're not really posing for a photo, they're just trying to, like, attack her. We got some UI changes, so you can now sort by instinct, which is pretty cool. You can also now see what obelisk or CTP you have equipped on every single character. Yeah, pretty interesting there. Kind of cool to see. Should make for some funny screenshots where people have like all the same CTP or whatever on a bunch of different characters. Are there any leaks here? I was about to say, I didn't check this out in depth here. I don't think there's any leaks for potential future tier 4s or whatever, unless there's someone. I think that's Cyclops maybe. And then I don't know who that is next to Doctor Strange. Maybe somebody else could figure that one out for me. We have new sales added. I don't want to go into too much detail on this because they're all good, but yeah. This one's good, 20 bucks. You get five regular cards and 1 premium card. You got these ones for tier 4 materials, which are good. Tier 3 materials, which is not bad. Tier 2 materials, which is pretty good. They've also lowered the crystal cost of the special offers that pop up with legendary battles. So now instead of 2,500 crystals for a 6-star Nick Fury, it's 1,500. That's quite good. You can also use it to unlock Valkyrie right away from the Thor legendary battle. There's a couple of good options. I think Nick Fury and Valkyrie are by far the best. But yeah, you can pick up a sort of a semi-premium support character for almost 50% less. And now this is probably the best thing they're adding in this update besides the new content. You can now craft collectible tokens. So you can use other tokens that you have maxed out to craft tokens that you do not have maxed out. This is absolutely huge. This is a big day for whales and players who have just accumulated so many of one type of token. And if you take a look in game here, because I've completed the X-Force team up collection, I have now 350 useless X-Force tokens, but they won't be useless in just like 12 hours because I'll be able to go and craft. I'll be able to change this to the X-Force token, and I'll be able to craft Midnight Suns tokens or Avengers tokens or Guardians of the Galaxy token. And you can do this even if you haven't finished the token set. Like if for like, let's say for whatever reason you're just like, you know what, I hate the Sinister Six, so I never focused on their team up collection. I have like 500 of their tokens, but I'm never gonna upgrade it because I just don't care. I don't have any of these characters tier 4. I don't care about Venom or whatever, Dr. Octopus. You can go ahead and convert all of those to whatever, Midnight Suns if you love Doctor Strange, Avengers if you love the Avengers, so on and so forth. This is a huge change. This is fantastic. I know my reaction doesn't seem it because I'm tired, but this is amazing. I got like kudos to the devs. This is fantastic. This is excellent. Yeah, I'll definitely be using this and I'll be making a video about that. You can also now convert runes. You can convert runes from one color to another if you're you have a couple of perfect swords, but there's some missing and you're just trying to focus in on the ones that you're missing. So this is really good. Should make sword crafting easier. You do have to use up the runes of the unknown, which is kind of a bummer. I wish they would take that away, but it's still good that you can craft this material now. It gives players more flexibility, more agency with what they want to do and how they want to move and build their accounts. Always a really good thing. And then they've made some changes here. These are kind of whatever. There's another huge change. They're adding the loyalty point system, the what's it called? The pity system, to the all CTP chance up event. So we have the pity system already when you're gambling normal CTPs, when it's just one of, right? So here, if you don't get a liberation in 10 pulls, then it guarantees a liberation, and they call that loyalty point for the liberation. But when it's all CTP chance up, the little bar at the bottom right corner, that disappears. Well, it's coming back. So we've talked about this before, but basically this is amazing. This is amazing. Like, gambling when it's all CTP chance up is good because you have a higher chance, but it's bad because there's no guarantee. So you can get really unlucky. Now you can't get really unlucky. You're always guaranteed a random CTP after 10 pulls, plus the chance of getting one in between that. Right? It follows the same rules, so the bar resets every time you pull a CTP, but it's now impossible. Basically, it's now impossible to get less than 1 CTP every 10 pulls. It's impossible. It doesn't matter when you're pulling for CTPs. So this is amazing. This is very good. They're adding the Ghost Rider card to the premium card token chest. So the tokens that you get for free, these premium tokens, right now the Ghost Rider card is not here, but they will be adding the Ghost Rider card after the update. So again, that's very good. If you've saved up tokens, or if you have tokens, don't spend them until after the update, because then you have a chance to pull the Ghost Rider card. And the Ghost Rider card is very good. It's one of the best. It's this one. It's one of the best PvE cards in the game. So yeah, very nice change. And then a couple of other things there. Oh, and you can also now pull the CTP of Conquest from the Shadowland chest and the Otherworld Battle shop. So again, it's unfortunate if you just spent those tokens, because now you have to wait. But yeah, in the future, if you save up enough tokens, and here I'm at 9,000, I'm almost ready to crack one open. If you look at it right now, it won't let me get Conquest. But after the update, they're adding Conquest to this one and to the one in Otherworld Battle. So really, really good stuff. More ways to easily get a Conquest, or like more free ways, I should say, not easy, but more free ways to get a Conquest. And then some game error fixes. But yeah, overall, I think this is an excellent update. The hype is not really there right now for the characters because on paper they seem similar, but I'm sure they will play differently in game, and I'm sure we'll have at least one standout star from that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I really want to, I want to just get to the live stream tonight and start testing things. So I hope to see you guys all there on YouTube here at 3 a.m. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I'll see you tonight. Take care.